After doing this as long as I have, I know exactly why most business owners avoid rebuilding their website. And I just realized I did the same thing about something else that needed to be done. This week, I'm in the middle of conducting interviews for a new graphic designer for our team. And I'll be honest, I procrastinated on this for much longer than I should have. It wasn't that it wasn't important, I had to be done, but it just wasn't at the top of my priority list. So I kept putting it off, delaying the inevitable. I kept pushing it to the bottom of my list because it felt like a lot. It was going to take a lot of my time and energy that I just didn't want to spare. Maybe you know the same feeling too. For instance, your website needs to be redone. But the minute you think about it, your brain starts running through all the details of what that means. Your mind chatter goes into overdrive, asking, where do I even start? What if I hire the wrong person to help? What if this turns into a huge project that eats up all of my time? Well, that's exactly what happened with me. You see, I didn't need someone who could just do graphic design. I needed someone who is detail-oriented and reliable, someone who can live up to our standards and fit well with our team, someone who shares our values. And not only that, there's the other part that nobody talks about, the risk. What if I invest the time to bring someone on and it's not the right fit? What if I train them and they move on and getting a better job offer? So I kept pushing it down the list. And then suddenly, here I am in a panic because now it's urgent and the stress is piled high due to my procrastination. And that's the part I want to talk to you about today because I see the same pattern with websites all the time. It's something you've been dealing with and meaning to deal with, and you've been thinking about it for months now, maybe even years, but it all feels overwhelming. When you think about rebuilding your website, you don't just see one task. You see a whole pile of work that will need to be done. Pages to write, photos to take, tech stuff to deal with, decisions to make, the million little details. And it can be very overwhelming to say the least. And so you put it off to the bottom of your priority list saying, I don't have time to deal with this right now. But the thing is, you don't have time and you don't need to do it all by yourself. In fact, you're not supposed to. A good website project shouldn't feel like you're trying to build the whole thing alone while also running your business. All you need is a clear plan and someone who can guide you through the process. Because when a website sits too long, being ignored and pushed aside as a someday to do item, it starts to cost your business a lot more than you might think. And it's not going to be a glaring red flag that will warn you that it's happening either, but it's slowly going to chip away at your credibility, leading you to fewer leads and sales. You see, when people land on your site, they are going to make a very quick decision on whether to stay or move on to another site. And that decision can take as little as 5 seconds. They are quickly scanning and looking for signals that will help them decide. Do I trust this business? Do they look current? Do they feel professional? Do I feel confident booking an appointment or making a purchase? So if your site is outdated, too cluttered, or hard to find the right kind of information that they're looking for, that trust takes a big hit. And when trust takes a hit, people don't move to the next step. They don't call, they don't fill out the form, they don't purchase. They just move on. And the worst part, you have no idea that all of that happened. And right now, this matters even more than ever with AI changing how people search and compare their options. They are now getting quick answers and are moving faster and making decisions with less patience. So your website needs to do its job quickly. It needs to make you look like the obvious and safe choice. It needs to build trust instantly. So take a moment and do an honest and quick gut check. Do you ever feel a bit embarrassed to share your website link? Have you ever said, ignore the site, it's old? Has it gotten cluttered because you've added things over the years and now it's just a hot mess? Does it look terrible on a phone? Do you avoid doing any major updates because it's a pain and you don't even know where to start? If any of that sounds like you, it's time to put your website to the top of your priority list. It's not going to fix it itself. And waiting is only going to make things harder and cause you to lose more valuable leads and sales. And one day, someone is going to tell you they didn't purchase because they found your site too confusing, and suddenly you'll be under pressure to do the badly needed upgrade. And trust me, rushed decisions will cost you more money, more time, more mistakes, and more frustration. So if your website has been on the back burner for too long, let's talk. Book a free 30-minute consultation with me and we'll look at what's working and what's not and what your next best step is. And no pressure, just relief that you have the help you need with all those details that have been bogging you down. I know I have felt incredible relief finding a new designer for our team. So until next time, I'm Susan Friesen, your small business brand positioning strategist, inviting you to stay clear, stay focused, and stand out.